Every lesson life gives you is an invitation to live better than you did yesterday. A single powerful lesson learned and lived is more valuable than years of repeating mistakes, because one right step forward can replace countless wrong turns and guide you toward a better life without wasting precious time. Life is full of moments where people move too fast, forget what truly matters, and chase things that leave them empty. Many spend years repeating the same mistakes without stopping to ask what actually improves their lives. The truth is, life does not get better by chance. It gets better by making the right choices and learning lessons that last forever. These lessons are simple, but most people ignore them until it is too late. They should pause, reflect, and start acting with purpose. They should choose growth over comfort, gratitude over complaints, and responsibility over excuses. Once you learn these lessons, you see life differently, and every step forward feels stronger and clearer. If you're ready to discover 20 life lessons that can transform everything, then let's dive in. Chapter 1. Take full responsibility for everything in your life. Most people live their days pointing a finger at someone else. They look at their boss, their parents, their partner, or the government and say, "This is why I am not where I want to be." They blame the job that does not pay enough. They blame the friend who let them down. They blame the economy, the traffic, the weather. The truth is clear, and it is sometimes painful. The day you stop blaming everything outside of you is the day your life starts to change. That is the first great lesson. Nothing gets better until you accept that you are fully responsible for what happens next. Responsibility means ownership. It means if something goes wrong, you look in the mirror before you look at anyone else. That is not easy. It is much easier to push the weight on others. But the moment you accept that you have created the results you have today, you also accept that you can create better results tomorrow. That is freedom. That is the doorway to improvement. If you are broke, you can learn how to earn more. If you are unhealthy, you can learn how to eat better and move your body. If your relationships are weak, you can build new habits of communication and care. The shift happens when you say it is up to me. Taking responsibility is not about feeling guilty. It is not about punishing yourself. It is about standing up straight and saying, "I will not wait for someone else to fix my life." Many people think life is about waiting for luck or waiting for someone to save them. They sit by and hope things will get better with time. Years go by and nothing changes. The reason is simple. Nobody is coming to rescue you. You are the one who has to act. You are the one who has to decide. You are the one who has to move. When I was young, I wanted a better life, but I had every excuse ready. I blamed the town I grew up in. I blamed the fact that I had no special talents. I blamed the people around me who doubted me. Then one day my mentor said something that hit me hard. He said, "Jim, if you do not like how things are, change it. You are not a tree." That sentence stayed with me. It was the spark that woke me up. If I was unhappy, it was my responsibility to change. If I wanted more, it was my responsibility to learn. That was the turning point. Now let me tell you why this lesson is so powerful. When you blame others, you hand away your power. You make yourself a victim of chance and circumstance. But when you take responsibility, you take the power back. You tell yourself, "I can learn new skills. I can take new actions. I can choose new habits." That is the moment you stop waiting and start creating. Imagine the energy shift that happens when you no longer say, "I cannot because of them," but instead say, "I will because of me." That is when confidence grows. That is when results come. It is important to notice how responsibility shows up in the small things. The way you keep your room, the way you treat your body, the way you spend your money, the way you spend your time. Each of these choices reflects how much responsibility you are willing to take. If your desk is always a mess, you will feel it in your mind. If your body is always tired, you will feel it in your energy. If your money is always gone, you will feel it in your security. These things may look small, but they add up to the quality of your life. When you clean them up, you build a foundation of control. Some people will say, "But Jim, you do not know my situation. You do not know the problems I have." That is true. Every person faces different challenges. Some face more than others. But responsibility is not about having a perfect situation. It is about saying, no matter where I start, I will take the steps I can. One person may start at 0 and another at 10, but both can move forward. What matters is not where you begin, but what you do with what you have. That decision is always in your hands. Taking responsibility also means learning. If you do not know how to do something, it is your job to learn it. If you do not know how to communicate well, it is your job to practice it. If you do not know how to manage money, it is your job to study it. Responsibility does not mean you already have all the answers. It means you are willing to seek them out. It means you do not stop at "I do not know." You move forward into "I will find out." That mindset alone can change your future. When you live with this principle, you feel a deep shift in your emotions. Instead of frustration, you feel direction. Instead of helplessness, you feel choice. Instead of waiting, you feel movement. You stop carrying the heavy weight of blame, and you carry the lighter weight of action. That is why people who take responsibility are often calmer and stronger. They know life is not perfect, but they also know they have the ability to change course. That is the kind of power that builds character. Sometimes you will take responsibility and still face failure. That is part of the process. But even then, you grow stronger. Because each time you take ownership, you learn. You gain wisdom. You sharpen your awareness. The failures no longer feel like punishment. They feel like lessons. And each lesson adds to your strength. That is why responsibility is the seed of resilience. It makes you stronger every time you use it. This idea may sound simple, but it is one of the hardest habits to live every day. It requires honesty. It requires humility. It requires courage. Most people want the prize without the price. They want the growth without the effort. But responsibility asks for both. It asks for you to see clearly and act boldly. And the reward is worth it. The reward is freedom. The reward is growth. The reward is the life you design, not the life handed to you. When you wake up tomorrow, I want you to try one thing. Catch yourself the moment you want to blame someone. Maybe you are late because of traffic. Maybe you are upset because of a co-worker. Maybe you are tired because of a late night. Instead of pointing outward, point inward. Ask, what could I have done differently? Ask, what can I do now to fix it? That simple shift will start to rewire your mind. Day by day, you will begin to live with a new level of awareness. The people who succeed are not the ones who had the best luck. They are the ones who took the most responsibility. They did not wait for chances. They made choices. They did not complain about the storm. They built skills to handle it. They did not stay frozen in fear. They acted with courage. You can do the same. But it begins with the same choice. Take full responsibility for everything in your life. That is the key that opens the door to change. Chapter 2. Choose growth over comfort in every situation. Most people want life to be easy. They want the path that feels smooth, safe, and predictable. They want to avoid the feeling of fear or pressure. They want comfort more than challenge. But here is the truth that many people ignore. Comfort keeps you in the same place. Comfort gives you the same results year after year. Growth only happens when you step outside of that comfort and put yourself into situations that stretch you. Every person dreams of change, but most avoid the very thing that creates it. Growth never feels comfortable in the beginning. It feels uncertain. It feels heavy. It feels risky. Yet it is the only way you become more than you are today. You know the moments I'm talking about. The moment you get a chance to speak up in front of others, but you stay quiet because it feels safer. The moment you're offered a new responsibility at work, but you turn it down because you fear failure. The moment you could try a new skill, but you stick to the one you already know. Each of those moments looks small, but together they shape your future. If you always choose comfort, you stay the same. If you choose growth, you gain new strength, new skills, and new confidence. The decision in that moment matters more than you think. Comfort feels good for a short time. It is like sitting in a warm chair. You do not have to move. You do not have to stretch. But over time, that comfort becomes a trap. It holds you in place while the world moves forward. You look back and wonder why nothing has changed. You wonder why your dreams are still out of reach. The reason is not luck. The reason is choice. Every time you avoided the hard thing, you gave up a chance to grow. Growth is uncomfortable, but it is also exciting. It is the sign that you are moving into new territory. When your heart races, when your hands shake, when your mind says this is hard, that is where growth lives. Think about your body for a moment. If you want stronger muscles, you do not get them by sitting still. You get them by lifting something heavy. At first the weight feels too much. Your arms hurt, your chest burns, your legs shake. But if you keep at it, those same muscles get stronger. The weight that once seemed impossible becomes easy. That is how growth works in every area of life. If you never pick up the weight, you never get stronger. If you always avoid the heavy thing, you stay weak. The choice between growth and comfort is a daily decision. I remember when I had to give my first public talk. My voice shook. My palms were sweaty. I wanted to run from the room. But I also knew that if I walked away, I would stay small. I chose growth. I stood there nervous, stumbling, but I finished. That moment changed my life. Each time I spoke after that, it became easier. Each time I grew a little more. Today people see me as a confident speaker, but they do not see the trembling man who made the choice to face discomfort. That choice was the seed that built everything that came after. Growth is not only about big moments. It is also about the small choices you make every day. Do you get up early when your body says stay in bed? Do you read the book when the television is easier? Do you practice the skill when you would rather scroll your phone? Do you face the hard conversation when silence feels safer? Those small choices look unimportant, but they build habits. They build character. They build a life of growth instead of stagnation. Every time you choose growth, you make a deposit into your future. People sometimes ask me, Jim, when does it get easier? The truth is it never really gets easier, you just get stronger. The first time you try something hard, it feels impossible. The 10th time, it feels challenging. The 100th time, it feels normal. The discomfort fades as your strength grows. That is why growth is worth the pain. You are building a version of yourself that can handle more. You are building a mind that is sharper, a heart that is braver, and a spirit that is tougher. That is why those who grow keep moving forward while others stay stuck. Now let me share something important. Choosing growth does not mean you never feel fear. Fear will always be there when you face the unknown. The difference is in your response. Comfort says run from fear. Growth says walk through fear. You do not wait for fear to vanish. You move with it. You step forward anyway. And once you do, you realize the fear was not as big as you imagined. Most of the walls that stop us are not real walls. They are feelings in the mind. When you break through them once, you see they had no real power over you. That realization changes everything. Look at the people you admire. They are not the ones who chose the easiest road. They are the ones who embraced challenge. They are the ones who fell, got up, and tried again. They are the ones who gave speeches, wrote books, built businesses, or learned skills even when it felt hard. Comfort never created a story worth telling. Growth created every story that inspires us. And if you want your life to inspire others, you must be willing to live with growth over comfort. You must be willing to pay the price of discipline, effort, and courage. One of the greatest feelings you can experience is looking back at something that once scared you and realizing you conquered it. Maybe it was learning to swim. Maybe it was speaking to a crowd. Maybe it was leaving a job that drained you. In that moment you feel proud. You feel alive. You feel stronger than you did before. That is the gift of growth. You become someone new. You see a new horizon, and you want to keep going because now you know you can. That sense of possibility only comes from choosing growth over comfort. Everyday life will test you with this choice. You will come home tired and want to relax, but growth will whisper to study. You will get a chance to meet someone new, but comfort will tell you to stay quiet. You will be asked to try a bigger role, but fear will tell you to decline. These moments shape you. Each decision pushes you toward progress or toward stagnation. When you realize how important each choice is, you will treat them with care. You will start asking yourself, which path will make me better? That simple question can redirect your entire future. Choosing growth also improves the way you see yourself. When you push past comfort, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more. You stop underestimating your strength. You stop doubting your ability. You begin to respect yourself. That self-respect shows in your posture, in your voice, in your decisions. Others notice it too. People are drawn to those who grow because growth radiates energy. Comfort does not inspire anyone. Growth does. That is why leaders, mentors, and champions are always people who chose growth again and again. Let me give you a truth that will help you. The discomfort you feel when you choose growth is temporary, but the results are lasting. The soreness fades, the nervousness fades, the fear fades, but the skills remain. The wisdom remains. The confidence remains. Years from now you will not remember the discomfort, but you will enjoy the rewards. Comfort gives you pleasure for a moment. Growth gives you strength for a lifetime. Once you see that, you will never regret choosing growth. There will be days when you want to stop. There will be days when you say this is too much. In those moments, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the life you want. Remind yourself of the person you want to become. Growth is the bridge to that life. Comfort cannot get you there. Each step you take into discomfort is a step closer to that future. That is why every struggle is worth it. That is why every hard choice matters. That is why you must keep going. So every time you face the choice, remember this. Comfort is easy now but costly later. Growth is hard now but rewarding later. You decide which price you want to pay. Life will not hand you growth. You must choose it. You must embrace it. You must live it in every situation. Once you commit to growth over comfort, you will start to feel a new kind of energy in your life. You will feel alive. You will feel unstoppable. And most of all, you will feel proud of the person you are becoming. Chapter 3. Build daily discipline because discipline builds freedom. Every person wants freedom. They want freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of choice. They want to live life on their own terms. Yet many do not realize that the only road to freedom is discipline. Without discipline, you fall into habits that steal your time, drain your energy, and trap your future. With discipline, you create routines that give you control and open new opportunities. Discipline looks hard in the beginning, but it is the very thing that sets you free. If you can build daily discipline, you can build a life that feels lighter and stronger. The first struggle with discipline is the battle between what feels good now and what feels good later. Your body says sleep longer, but discipline says get up and start your day. Your taste says eat more, but discipline says stop when you should. Your mind says relax, but discipline says finish your work. These moments decide your future. Most people give in to what feels good right now and then wonder why their life feels stuck. Those who practice discipline say no in the moment, but later they get to enjoy the reward. That is how freedom is created. Think about money. If you spend everything you earn, you feel comfort today, but stress tomorrow. If you save and invest with discipline, you may feel sacrifice today, but security tomorrow. Discipline turns into freedom because it gives you choices later. Without discipline, you lose control over your future. With discipline, you gain control. That is why every wealthy person, every healthy person, every wise person has one thing in common. They built daily discipline that guided their actions no matter how they felt in the moment. Daily discipline is not about perfection. It is about consistency. It is not about working all the time. It is about doing the right things regularly. Small acts repeated daily create massive results over time. Reading 10 pages of a book each day does not feel like much, but in a year you have read several books. Saving a little money each month does not feel like much, but in years it becomes financial freedom. Exercising for 30 minutes does not feel like much, but over time it transforms your health. Discipline multiplies itself when you stick to it. The challenge is that discipline often feels boring. It feels repetitive. It does not give instant excitement. But what you must understand is that the very routine that feels dull today is the key to joy tomorrow. Freedom is not built in one big act. It is built in daily habits. Discipline makes you reliable to yourself. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you grow stronger. Each time you break a promise, you weaken trust in yourself. The power of discipline is not just in results, but in the character it shapes. I learned early in life that discipline is like a muscle. If you train it, it grows. If you neglect it, it weakens. At first, getting up early was hard for me. My body begged for more sleep. But I decided I wanted to take control of my mornings. Day by day, I forced myself to get out of bed at the time I planned. After weeks, it became easier. After months, it became natural. Now it feels strange not to get up early. That is the magic of discipline. What was once hard becomes a habit that feels normal. You might say, Jim, how do I start building discipline when I have failed so many times? The answer is to start small. Pick one thing you can do daily and commit to it. Maybe it is making your bed. Maybe it is reading for 10 minutes. Maybe it is walking each evening. Start with one small win and then build on it. Discipline grows with practice. You do not need to change everything in one day. You only need to prove to yourself that you can stick with one thing. Once you do, you gain confidence to handle more. It is important to understand that discipline is not punishment. Discipline is not taking joy away from life. Discipline is creating a life where you have more joy because you are in control. People confuse discipline with restriction, but the truth is the opposite. Discipline is freedom. The person who eats with discipline enjoys health and energy. The person who spends with discipline enjoys security and peace. The person who studies with discipline enjoys knowledge and opportunity. That is not punishment. That is reward. One of the greatest gifts of discipline is clarity. When you live with discipline, you stop wasting time on things that do not matter. You stop giving energy to distractions. You stop feeling lost. Discipline gives your day structure. You know what matters and you act on it. That clarity is rare in the world today because most people are scattered. They chase every new distraction. They follow every urge. They end up tired and unfulfilled. Discipline gives focus, and focus gives progress. Freedom comes when discipline is repeated over years. Think of the person who studies every day. In a year, they are smarter. In 5 years, they are an expert. In 10 years, they are a leader. None of that happened overnight. It was the daily discipline that compounded into greatness. The same happens with health, money, or relationships. The disciplined person earns freedom of choice, freedom of respect, and freedom of opportunity. The undisciplined person remains trapped by impulses and regrets. You will face temptations every day to break discipline. You will be tempted by comfort, distraction, and excuses. This is why you must decide ahead of time what matters to you. If you wait for the moment, feelings will win. If you decide in advance, discipline will win. Plan your day, plan your habits, plan your commitments. Then stick to them even when you do not feel like it. Feelings are temporary, but discipline creates lasting results. Let me tell you about something that changed me. My mentor told me that discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. Skipping the small act of discipline may feel light, but the regret years later is heavy. Missing a workout today feels small, but living with sickness later is heavy. Spending too much today feels small, but living with debt later is heavy. Not studying today feels small, but living with limited opportunities later is heavy. The cost of regret is far greater than the cost of discipline. Discipline also brings respect from others. People trust those who are consistent. People admire those who follow through. When you live with discipline, people know they can count on you. That builds relationships, opportunities, and influence. Discipline makes you stand out in a world full of excuses. Employers notice it. Friends notice it. Partners notice it. Your word gains value because you back it with action. That respect is another form of freedom because it opens doors that excuses will never open. Building discipline is not a single act, it is a lifestyle. You build it each morning when you rise on time. You build it each time you complete the task you promised. You build it each time you say no to distraction. You build it each time you stick to your plan. Over time, discipline becomes part of who you are. You stop fighting with yourself every day. You simply live the habits you have built. That is true freedom. To act without struggle, to live with structure, and to enjoy the rewards. Your future self is watching you today. The person you will become is shaped by the discipline you live with now. Each action is a vote for the kind of life you want. Each choice either builds freedom or takes it away. Discipline is not about today alone, it is about tomorrow. It is about the kind of health, wealth, and relationships you want years from now. When you see it that way, discipline no longer feels like sacrifice. It feels like investment. Start today. Do the small thing you promised yourself. Keep the habit even when it feels hard. Build one win, then another, then another. Watch as your confidence grows. Watch as your freedom grows. Watch as your life begins to change. Discipline is the bridge to the life you want. Without it, you drift. With it, you soar. And the choice is in your hands every single day. Chapter 4. Focus on progress, not perfection, every single day. Many people never move forward because they wait for the perfect moment. They wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect resources. They want everything lined up before they take the first step. The problem is that perfection never arrives. Life is messy. Circumstances are never flawless. If you demand perfection before you act, you stay stuck where you are. The key to building a better life is progress, not perfection. Each small step forward matters more than waiting for the ideal step. When you focus on progress, you keep moving. When you chase perfection, you freeze. Progress is powerful because it builds momentum. Think about when you start something new. At first it feels heavy. You feel unsure. You may not know the best way. But the moment you take a step, you learn. You see what works. You see what does not. That learning becomes your guide. One step leads to another. Soon you are not guessing anymore. You are improving because you are in motion. That is the secret. Progress teaches. Perfection demands without giving. If you wait for perfection, you learn nothing. If you choose progress, you learn everything. Perfection is also a thief of joy. When you demand perfection, you judge yourself too harshly. You see flaws in every effort. You tell yourself it is not good enough. That voice in your head steals your confidence. It tells you to quit. Progress does the opposite. Progress gives you reasons to celebrate. You say, I did more than yesterday. I learned something new today. I kept a promise to myself. That builds pride. That builds motivation. Each small win is fuel for the next. Progress grows self-belief. Perfection kills it. You can see this truth in simple habits. Imagine someone who wants to start exercising. If they wait for the perfect gym, the perfect clothes, the perfect schedule, they will delay forever. If they simply start with 10 minutes of walking, they are already moving forward. 10 minutes becomes 20. A walk becomes a jog. A jog becomes a run. Soon they are fit. That is the power of progress. Each action may seem small, but together they create transformation. Perfection would have left them sitting on the couch waiting for the right time. I remember when I wanted to improve my speaking. At first I wanted every word to be perfect. I wanted my voice to sound flawless. I wanted my gestures to be right. That desire for perfection almost stopped me from speaking at all. Then I realized that the only way to improve was to keep practicing. Each talk I gave was imperfect. Some were messy, some were awkward, but each one made me better. Over time, the imperfections became lessons. Today, people see a polished speaker, but what they do not see is the many imperfect talks that built the skill. Progress created the result. Perfection would have destroyed the chance. Progress also helps you overcome fear. Fear often comes from thinking you must get it right the first time. That pressure makes you freeze. But when you shift your mind to progress, the fear loses its hold. You say, I do not need to be perfect. I only need to be better than yesterday. That thought gives you permission to try. It gives you permission to fail and learn. It gives you the courage to keep going. Fear cannot stop a person who values progress more than perfection. Perfection is not only personal, it damages relationships too. When you demand perfection from others, you push them away. Nobody wants to live under impossible standards. But when you value progress, you build connection. You celebrate effort. You encourage growth. You create an environment where people feel safe to try. Families, teams, and friendships all grow stronger when progress is honored. Perfection creates pressure. Progress creates support. That difference can change the quality of your relationships. Every day you must remind yourself that progress counts. You may not finish the entire project, but did you move it forward? You may not solve the whole problem, but did you improve part of it? You may not hit every goal, but did you take a step closer? That is the measurement that matters. People who measure progress stay motivated. People who demand perfection give up too soon. Life rewards those who keep moving, not those who wait for flawless conditions. One of the dangers of perfection is procrastination. You keep delaying because you feel unready. You tell yourself you will start when things are perfect. Days pass, then weeks, then years. Progress eliminates procrastination because it says start now. Do what you can today with what you have. You may not do it perfectly, but you will be further ahead than yesterday. That action breaks the cycle of delay. That action gives you results while perfection keeps you empty-handed. Progress is also the way growth becomes visible. You cannot see change overnight. You cannot see mastery in a week. But you can see daily progress if you pay attention. Write a page each day and soon you have a book. Save a small amount each week and soon you have wealth. Learn a new word each morning and soon you have a new language. Progress is slow but steady. Perfection is impatient and cruel. If you want a better life, learn to value the steady build of progress. I tell people that progress is about showing up each day. Some days you will do more. Some days you will do less. But as long as you keep showing up, you are moving forward. The habit of showing up is more important than the size of the result. Because once the habit is built, results grow naturally. Perfection makes you think one missed day is failure. Progress says get back up tomorrow and keep going. That mindset keeps you steady when life is unpredictable. There is a peace that comes with focusing on progress. You stop chasing impossible standards. You stop beating yourself up. You stop comparing yourself to others who seem perfect. Instead, you compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That comparison is fair. That comparison is empowering. You know you are better than before, and that is enough. That simple shift can remove a lot of stress from your life. It can bring back joy to your work and your goals. People often ask how to stay motivated. The answer is progress. When you see yourself moving forward, even in small steps, you feel motivated. Motivation is not built by perfection. It is built by visible progress. That is why keeping track of your progress is powerful. Write it down. Record your steps. Look back at how far you have come. When you see progress, you believe in yourself again. When you only see imperfection, you lose faith. Choose the view that builds you, not the one that breaks you. Perfection is also the enemy of creativity. Creativity is messy. It is trial and error. It is exploring. If you demand perfection, you kill your own ideas. You never share them because you fear they are not good enough. Progress allows creativity to breathe. It lets you test ideas. It lets you improve them. It lets you release them into the world. Some will work, some will not, but each will teach you. Every creative breakthrough comes from progress, never from perfection. Your journey is unique. No one else walks your path. If you judge yourself by perfection, you ignore your uniqueness. If you judge yourself by progress, you honor your path. Each day you move forward is success. Each day you learn is success. Each day you try again is success. Progress respects the process. Perfection demands the impossible. Choose the measure that builds your life, not the one that drains it. Tomorrow when you wake up, remind yourself that progress is the goal. Do one thing better than yesterday. Take one step closer to your dream. Learn one lesson you did not know before. That is how you grow. That is how you build a life that feels rich and meaningful. Perfection may never arrive, but progress is always possible. And progress is enough to change everything. Chapter 5. Guard your time because time is your real wealth. The most valuable thing you have in life is not money. It is not property. It is not the possessions you gather. The most valuable thing you have is time. Once a moment is gone, you can never bring it back. You can make more money, but you cannot make more time. You can replace things, but you cannot replace hours. Yet most people treat their time as if it were endless. They give it away without thought. They waste it on distractions. They let others control it. Then one day they look back and wonder where it all went. The truth is simple. If you do not guard your time, you lose your life without even noticing. You feel this truth in your own days. How often do you plan to use your time wisely, only to see it vanish? You scroll on your phone. You sit through meaningless conversations. You take on tasks that add nothing to your goals. By the end of the day, you feel tired but not fulfilled. That feeling comes from wasted time. It is like carrying water in a leaking bucket. No matter how much you put in, it slips away. Guarding your time means fixing the leaks. It means deciding where your hours go. It means giving your energy to what matters and protecting it from what does not. Every person has the same 24 hours in a day. That is the one thing life gives equally. Yet the difference between success and regret is how those hours are used. Some fill them with learning, building, creating, and connecting. Others fill them with noise, distraction, and delay. That is why two people can live the same number of years and have very different results. Time is the currency of life. You can spend it on things that grow you or on things that shrink you. Once you understand this, you start to guard your time the way you guard your money. Guarding your time begins with clarity. You must know what is important to you. Without clarity, you give your time to anything that comes along. People call, tasks appear, and you say yes without thinking. Soon your day belongs to everyone but you. But when you are clear on your values, your goals, and your priorities, you can say no. You can protect your time because you know what deserves it. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something meaningful. When you see that, you start choosing carefully. Time is often stolen in small ways. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. A little distraction that turns into an hour. A small delay that pushes everything back. At first it seems harmless. But these small thefts add up. Hours become days. Days become years. That is how people lose decades without realizing it. Guarding your time means paying attention to the small moments as much as the big ones. It means noticing when you are slipping into habits that drain your hours. It means pulling yourself back to focus. You must also guard your time from other people. Not everyone values your hours. Some will waste them with endless complaints. Some will demand them for their benefit, not yours. Some will pull you into their distractions. If you do not protect your time, you will live someone else's life instead of your own. Guarding your time does not mean being selfish. It means being smart. It means giving your time to the people and causes that matter most. It means saying no to what does not serve your purpose. Respect for your time starts with you. If you do not respect it, no one else will. Guarding your time also requires discipline. It is easy to promise yourself you will focus, but harder to follow through. You must train yourself to put boundaries on your day. Set limits for distractions. Decide when you will work, when you will rest, when you will connect. If you let time slip through your fingers, it will. If you hold it firmly, you will use it well. Discipline is the fence that protects your hours. Without it, your time will be eaten up by whatever shouts the loudest. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I was younger, I thought I had plenty of time. I said yes to everything. I let others decide my schedule. I wasted hours on things that added nothing to my goals. One day I realized my time was gone and I had nothing to show for it. That moment woke me up. I decided to treat my time like treasure. I began planning my days. I began saying no. I began giving my best hours to my most important work. That single shift changed everything. My results grew, my confidence grew, and my life began to move forward. Guarding your time also means using it wisely in small ways. Waiting in line, sitting in traffic, or standing around can feel wasted. But if you use those moments to think, to plan, to learn, they become valuable. A small pocket of time can teach you, inspire you, or move you closer to a goal. The key is to stop treating any moment as worthless. Every moment has potential if you guard it and use it with purpose. Small pieces of time add up to big progress. Time is also tied to energy. It is not enough to have hours if your energy is low. Guarding your time means guarding your energy. Sleep well, eat well, move your body. If you are tired all day, your time is wasted, even if you have it. Energy gives time its power. Without energy, time slips away with little done. With energy, even a short time can be productive. That is why health and time are linked. To guard your time, you must guard your health. Another way to guard your time is to plan ahead. If you wake up without a plan, the day controls you. If you wake up with a plan, you control the day. Planning does not mean filling every minute. It means knowing your priorities. It means setting aside space for what matters most. It means making decisions before the day begins. That way, when distractions appear, you know what to say yes to and what to refuse. A plan is a shield for your time. Be careful of the illusion of busyness. Many people waste time thinking they are productive. They fill their day with tasks that look important but add little value. They stay busy to feel accomplished, but in truth they are avoiding the real work. Guarding your time means being honest. Ask yourself, does this move me forward? Does this task bring me closer to my goals? If the answer is no, protect your time by stopping. Do not confuse motion with progress. Guard your time for what truly counts. Technology can also steal your time if you let it. Phones, messages, and screens are designed to pull your attention. Hours vanish in endless scrolling. Guarding your time means controlling your use of technology instead of letting it control you. Decide when and how you will use it. Set limits. Protect your focus. Technology is a tool, not a master. If you do not guard your time from it, you will find whole days lost to it without memory of what you gained. Your future is built on how you spend your time today. Each hour is a building block. If you give them to distractions, you build regret. If you give them to growth, you build success. Time is your real wealth because it is the foundation of every achievement. Without it, nothing happens. With it, anything is possible. But only if you guard it. Only if you treat it with respect. Only if you choose to spend it with purpose. The truth is simple but powerful. Your days are numbered. You do not know how many you have. That makes each one precious. That makes each one a chance. Do not waste them waiting. Do not waste them drifting. Do not waste them on things that do not matter. Guard your time. Protect it. Invest it. Use it as the wealth it is. Because once it is gone, there is no getting it back. And what you do with it will decide the life you live. Chapter 6. Learn to say no to protect your priorities. One of the hardest things for most people to do is to say no. They say yes because they do not want to upset others. They say yes because they fear rejection. They say yes because it feels easier in the moment. But every yes you give is also a no to something else. If you fill your life with yes to everything, you lose control of your priorities. You give away your time, your focus, and your energy. Soon you realize you are living for other people's demands instead of your own values. The ability to say no is one of the greatest skills you can build if you want to live a life of purpose. Think about how often you have said yes when you wanted to say no. You agreed to go somewhere you did not enjoy. You agreed to take on a task you did not need. You agreed to help with something that did not matter to your goals. Later you felt drained and even resentful. That feeling is a signal. It tells you that you betrayed your own priorities. It tells you that you gave away something valuable. Every time you do that, you weaken your own foundation. Learning to say no is not about being rude. It is about protecting what is important. Your priorities are like your compass. They show you the direction of your life. Without them, you wander. With them, you move with purpose. But if you say yes to everything, your compass does not matter. You let others push you in every direction. Saying no is the way you honor your compass. It is the way you stay true to what you value most. If health is your priority, you must say no to habits that harm it. If family is your priority, you must say no to distractions that steal from it. If growth is your priority, you must say no to things that waste your time. Each no keeps you on course. The fear of saying no often comes from wanting to please people. You want to be liked. You want to be accepted. But here is the truth. When you say yes to everyone, you lose respect. People may like that you always agree, but they do not admire it. Real respect comes when people see that you have boundaries, when they see that you protect your time, when they see that you stand for something. People may not always be happy when you say no, but they will know you value yourself. That respect is far greater than approval. Saying no is also about protecting your energy. Every task you take on requires focus and effort. If you keep giving your energy to things that do not matter, you run out of strength for the things that do. This is why so many people feel tired without doing meaningful work. They gave their energy away to tasks, requests, and distractions that were never theirs to carry. When you learn to say no, you keep your energy for the things that truly matter. That shift can bring a sense of peace and power into your life. One way to practice saying no is to pause before you answer. Many people say yes too quickly. They agree before they even think. They get caught in the moment. The next time someone asks for your time, pause. Ask yourself, does this fit my priorities? Ask yourself, what will I lose if I say yes? Ask yourself, is this truly important? That pause gives you space to make a clear choice. It stops you from automatic agreement. It teaches you to value your own needs as much as the needs of others. Another way to strengthen your ability to say no is to remember the cost of each yes. Every yes costs you time. Every yes costs you energy. Every yes costs you focus. You only have so much of each. If you give them away too freely, you run out. The person who guards their yes protects their life. The person who gives yes to everyone has nothing left for themselves. Think carefully before you agree. Ask if this is worth the cost. If it is not, the answer should be no. You do not need to be harsh when you say no. You can be polite and firm at the same time. You can say thank you for thinking of me, but I cannot commit to that right now. You can say I appreciate the offer, but I need to focus on my priorities. You can say no without guilt, because protecting your life is not wrong. The people who value you will understand. The people who do not may be upset, but that is their choice. Your responsibility is to your own growth and purpose. When you first start saying no, it will feel uncomfortable. You will feel guilty. You will feel selfish. That is normal. But as you practice, you realize it is the opposite. Saying no gives you the ability to say yes to the things that truly matter. You can say yes to your health. You can say yes to your family. You can say yes to your learning. You can say yes to your dreams. Every no is not just a rejection. It is also a protection. It guards the yes that matters most. People often think they must do everything. They feel guilty if they rest. They feel guilty if they focus on themselves. But the truth is that no one can do everything. The attempt only leads to exhaustion. When you say no, you focus your effort where it has the most impact. You do less, but you achieve more. You stop scattering your life. You start concentrating it. That is how real progress happens. Not by doing everything, but by doing the right things with focus. I remember when I was younger, I used to say yes to every opportunity. I thought that was the way to grow, but soon I was stretched thin. I was doing a lot, but achieving little. I was busy, but not effective. Then I learned the power of no. I started asking, does this help me move closer to my vision? If not, I declined. At first it felt strange, but soon I noticed that my energy grew. My results improved. My sense of purpose became sharper. Saying no gave me control over my life. It gave me room to focus on what mattered most. Another reason you must learn to say no is because time is limited. Every day you only have so many hours. If you let them be taken by every request, you lose your chance to use them wisely. Each hour is an investment. Where you put it decides what you get back. When you say no to the wrong things, you protect your hours for the right things. That is how you build a life of meaning. That is how you look back without regret. Saying no also builds strength in your character. It teaches you to stand for yourself. It teaches you to value your worth. It teaches you to handle discomfort. Every time you say no, you grow in confidence. You learn that you do not need to please everyone. You learn that you can survive the discomfort of someone else's disappointment. That strength will serve you in every area of life. It will make you bolder. It will make you clearer. It will make you freer. Remember this truth. Your priorities are your foundation. Without them, life pushes you in every direction. With them, life becomes focused and meaningful. Saying no is the tool that protects those priorities. Each no is a wall that shields your values. Each no is a guard that defends your goals. Each no is a step toward living with clarity. If you want to live with purpose, you must practice this skill. You must learn to say no with strength, with respect, and with conviction. Tomorrow you will be asked for your time, your energy, your focus. In that moment, remember your priorities. Remember what matters most. If the request takes you away from them, your answer is no. Not because you do not care, but because you do. You care about your life. You care about your future. You care about the things that matter most. Protect them. Guard them. And never forget that every no today is a gift to the life you are building. Chapter 7. Invest in your health before life forces you to. Most people do not think about their health until it starts slipping away. They take their energy for granted. They assume their body will keep working without care. They push themselves too hard, eat without thought, sleep too little, and ignore the signals their body gives them. Then one day they wake up and life forces them to pay attention. Pain arrives. Fatigue becomes constant. A doctor delivers news they cannot ignore. At that moment, people realize health is not optional. Health is the foundation. Without it, nothing else works. The time to invest is not later when life demands it. The time to invest is now when you still have the choice. When you feel strong, you can chase opportunities. You can work with focus. You can spend time with people you love. You can create, build, and enjoy life. But when your health is weak, everything suffers. Money cannot buy energy once it is gone. Success feels empty if your body is broken. Relationships suffer when you are too tired to be present. That is why health is the greatest wealth you can build. It touches every part of life. Yet most people trade it for temporary comfort. They eat fast, skip movement, and stay up late. It feels harmless now, but the bill comes due later. Investing in your health does not mean perfection. It does not mean you need the best diet plan or the most intense workout. It means building simple daily habits that keep your body strong and your mind clear. It means respecting the gift of energy and not wasting it. Eat food that nourishes instead of drains. Move your body in ways that keep it alive and flexible. Rest enough so your body can recover. These choices may seem small, but over time they build strength. Just as neglect builds disease, care builds resilience. Think about how it feels when you wake up rested after a good night of sleep. Your mind feels clear. Your mood feels lighter. You move through the day with focus. Compare that to the mornings when you drag yourself out of bed after only a few hours. Everything feels heavy. Your patience is thin. Your work suffers. That difference shows how much health impacts everything. Rest is not a luxury. It is part of your investment. Every hour of good sleep is like depositing energy into your account for tomorrow. Food is another investment. Every bite you take is a choice between fueling your body or slowing it down. You know how you feel after eating something heavy and greasy. You feel sluggish. You want to lie down. But after eating fresh food with real nutrients, you feel light and energized. The difference is clear. Yet most people choose what feels good for a moment instead of what feels good for the long run. Investing in health means valuing long-term energy over short-term pleasure. It means choosing food that serves you instead of harms you. Movement is one of the most powerful investments you can make. A body that moves stays young. A body that sits still grows weak. You do not need hours in a gym. You only need consistency. A walk, a stretch, a workout you enjoy. These movements keep your muscles alive, your heart strong, and your mind sharp. Every day you move, you are not just exercising your body. You are investing in your freedom to live without limits. The person who cannot move freely loses independence. The person who moves daily keeps independence longer. Stress is another silent thief of health. If you carry it without relief, it wears down your body. It drains your immune system. It steals your peace. Part of investing in your health is learning to manage stress. Breathe deeply. Take breaks. Spend time in silence. Talk with people you trust. Write your thoughts down. These small habits release the weight before it builds too heavy. If you ignore stress, it turns into illness. If you manage it, you keep balance. Protecting your health means protecting your peace of mind as much as your body. You must also understand that health is not only about how you look, it is about how you feel and how you function. A person may appear fine on the outside while struggling on the inside. True health means energy that lasts through the day. It means focus that stays sharp. It means a body that recovers quickly from effort. It means emotions that stay steady. Investing in your health means caring for all of these parts, not just appearance. You deserve to feel good in your daily life, not just look good in photos. One of the biggest reasons people neglect their health is busyness. They say, "I do not have time to cook healthy food. I do not have time to exercise. I do not have time to sleep." But what they forget is that neglecting health costs more time later. A sick body takes away your hours. Doctor visits, fatigue, lost productivity, and long recoveries steal more time than daily care ever would. Investing time in health today saves years later. You may not see the benefit immediately, but your future self will thank you for every choice you made now. I have seen people with great success lose everything because they ignored their health. They had wealth but could not enjoy it. They had freedom but could not move without pain. They had time but spent it in hospitals. That is not true success. Real success is having both wealth and health. Real success is being able to live fully. If you must choose, health must come first, because without it, nothing else has value. Investing in your health means protecting your ability to enjoy life. Start by paying attention to how your body feels. Do you feel tired all the time? Do you struggle with focus? Do you feel heavy after meals? Do you recover slowly from effort? These are signals. Your body speaks to you every day. Investing in your health means listening to those signals and responding. If you are tired, fix your sleep. If you feel heavy, change your food. If you feel weak, move more. Small changes can create big differences if you make them consistently. Your body wants to support you, but you must support it too. Another part of investing in your health is avoiding habits that destroy it. Smoking, drinking excessively, and other harmful behaviors may feel small in the moment, but over time they break down the body. Ask yourself honestly, does this habit build my future or destroy it? If it destroys it, you are not investing, you are wasting. Protecting your health means cutting out what steals from you. Replace harmful habits with ones that add value. Each choice is either a deposit or a withdrawal from your health account. Choose wisely. Do not wait for a crisis to wake you up. Too many people wait until pain forces them to act. They wait until the doctor says they must change. By then the damage is harder to undo. Prevention is always easier than repair. Investing in health early is like putting money into savings. The earlier you start, the bigger the reward. Every healthy choice you make now adds years of energy later. Do not wait for life to force you. Choose to act before you are left with no choice. Health is also about mindset. If you tell yourself you do not care, you will live without care. If you tell yourself it does not matter, you will pay the price. But if you tell yourself health is my responsibility, you start making better choices. You stop blaming time, work, or stress. You take ownership. That mindset changes everything. It makes you see health as something you create, not something you hope for. With that mindset, you are not at the mercy of chance. You are the designer of your energy and your strength. Your body is your vehicle for life. If you treat it well, it carries you far. If you neglect it, it breaks down early. Investing in your health is not about vanity. It is about respect for yourself. It is about gratitude for the life you have. It is about building the strength to live fully. Every choice is a chance. Every day is an opportunity. Use it. Care for your health today so you can enjoy the rewards tomorrow. Invest in your health before life forces you to, because once it does, the cost is far greater than the effort you could have given now. Chapter 8. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher. Every person is influenced by the people they spend time with. You may not notice it at first, but the words, attitudes, and habits of those around you slowly shape your own. If you are around people who complain all the time, you will soon find yourself complaining. If you are around people who avoid responsibility, you will begin to do the same. But if you are around people who dream bigger, act with discipline, and believe in growth, you will rise to their level. Your environment is powerful. It can lift you higher or pull you lower. That is why choosing who you spend time with may be one of the most important decisions of your life. Think about how you feel after spending time with different groups of people. Some leave you feeling drained, heavy, and doubtful. You walk away with less energy than you had before. Others leave you feeling inspired, hopeful, and strong. You walk away with new ideas, courage, and excitement. That difference is not by chance. It is the result of the energy people carry and the standards they live by. Surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher means choosing to protect your spirit from the weight of negativity. The truth is that you cannot grow in a toxic environment. A negative circle will hold you back. They will laugh at your dreams. They will tell you it is too hard. They will remind you of every failure. They will criticize every step you take. If you listen to them long enough, you will believe them. But when you place yourself among people who believe in progress, they remind you of what is possible. They cheer when you win and support you when you fall. They challenge you to do better, not because they doubt you, but because they see your potential. That is the difference between those who drain and those who lift. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is letting go of the wrong people. You may have friends who feel familiar but keep you small. You may have colleagues who gossip instead of grow. You may have family who criticize instead of encourage. It is not easy to distance yourself, but it is necessary if you want to rise. You cannot expect to live at a higher standard while surrounding yourself with those who live at a lower one. Letting go of some people creates room for new people who will lift you higher. When you surround yourself with people who lift you higher, you begin to raise your own standards. You watch how they work with focus. You see how they discipline their habits. You hear how they speak with belief. Slowly, you adopt the same standards. You stop tolerating excuses. You stop settling for less. You begin to see what is possible because you see it lived out around you. This is how influence works. It shapes you quietly but powerfully. That is why your circle is your future. One way to surround yourself with better people is to seek out mentors. A mentor is someone who has walked further than you and is willing to guide you. They show you not only what to do, but how to think. They save you years of mistakes by sharing their lessons. Mentors lift you by showing you a higher vision. They remind you that where you are is not where you must stay. If you do not have a mentor in your life, start looking. Read their books, attend their talks, or connect with them in person. A good mentor can shift the entire direction of your life. But not every person who lifts you higher is a mentor. Some are simply friends who believe in growth. They may not have all the answers, but they walk the same path of improvement. These friends hold you accountable. They celebrate your progress. They remind you to keep going when you want to quit. They share their struggles honestly, which makes you feel less alone. These relationships are powerful because they give you both encouragement and accountability. Together you grow stronger. You must also be intentional about removing constant negativity. This may mean stepping away from groups that gossip or criticize. It may mean limiting time with those who bring you down. It may mean saying no to people who drain your time and energy. Protecting your circle is protecting your future. It does not mean you think you are better than others. It means you value your growth enough to choose wisely. You can love people without letting them shape your life. Look for people who challenge you. Comfort may feel good, but challenge helps you grow. People who lift you higher are not afraid to tell you the truth. They point out your blind spots. They push you to aim higher. They remind you that you are capable of more. At times it may feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is growth. If your circle never challenges you, you are in the wrong circle. Growth happens when you are pushed beyond what feels easy. Surrounding yourself with uplifting people also changes your vision of what is possible. If you only spend time with people who live small, you will think small. But when you are around people who build businesses, create art, improve themselves and dream big, you begin to see that bigger is possible. Your mind expands to match your environment. What once seemed impossible begins to feel normal. That shift alone can open doors you never thought you could walk through. Another reason to choose people who lift you higher is because life is full of challenges. You will face setbacks, failures, and disappointments. In those moments, your circle matters more than ever. If you are surrounded by doubters, they will confirm your fears and tell you to quit. If you are surrounded by lifters, they will remind you of your strength and push you forward. That support can be the difference between giving up and trying again. No one succeeds alone. Everyone is carried at some point by the people around them. This does not mean you should only take from others. To truly be lifted, you must also lift. Relationships are a two-way street. If you want people who inspire you, be the kind of person who inspires others. Encourage them. Celebrate their wins. Support them in their struggles. Share your own growth. When you give, you attract those who give as well. When you lift others, you create an environment where everyone rises together. That is the true power of a strong circle. Some people will say they cannot find the right circle where they are. But in today's world, you can connect with uplifting people anywhere. You can join groups focused on growth. You can take classes. You can find communities online. You can read books and listen to voices that challenge you. The point is to be intentional. Do not let your circle be an accident. Build it with care. Choose people who reflect the future you want, not the past you are leaving behind. You will notice that the more you grow, the more your circle changes. Some people will fall away naturally because they no longer match your vision. Others will be drawn to you because they see your growth. Do not fear this change. It is part of the process. Growth requires new environments. If you cling to old circles out of comfort, you will stay stuck. If you allow new circles to form, you will keep rising. Surrounding yourself with the right people is not a one-time choice. It is an ongoing practice. Your environment matters more than you think. It shapes your thoughts. It shapes your habits. It shapes your future. If you want to rise higher, build a circle that pushes you upward. Seek out mentors. Choose uplifting friends. Protect yourself from negativity. Be willing to change your environment when it no longer serves you. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher, because the truth is simple. You become like the people you spend the most time with, and your future will reflect the company you keep. Chapter 9. Turn failures into lessons and keep moving forward. Every person has failed at something. You failed a test in school. You failed at a job you wanted. You failed in a relationship you cared about. You failed at sticking with a goal you promised yourself. Failure is not rare. It is part of life. Yet most people treat failure as the end. They see it as a signal to stop. They feel ashamed, embarrassed, and defeated. They let failure define them instead of teach them. The truth is that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a step toward success. The only question is what you do after it. When you fail, you have two choices. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. Most people choose to stop. They believe failure means they are not capable. They believe failure means they are unlucky. They believe failure means the dream is too big. But those who rise understand something different. They see failure as feedback. They see it as a lesson. They see it as part of the process. If you treat failure as a teacher instead of a punishment, it gives you exactly what you need to improve. Think about when you first learned something simple like riding a bike. You fell many times. You scraped your knees. You wobbled. You crashed. Each fall was a failure, but each fall also taught you balance. If you had stopped after the first fall, you never would have learned. The same rule applies to everything in life. Failure is the practice ground. Failure is the way we learn what works and what does not. Without it, we stay weak and unprepared. With it, we gain the skills that lead to strength. The problem is that failure hurts. It hurts your pride. It hurts your emotions. It makes you doubt yourself. That pain is real, but it does not have to be final. Pain can be turned into power when you ask the right questions. Instead of asking, why me, ask, what can I learn? Instead of saying, I cannot, say, what can I do differently? Instead of giving up, say, what step can I take next? Those questions turn failure from a dead end into a doorway. The people who move forward are not those who avoid pain, but those who learn to use it. Every successful person has a history of failure. Look behind every achievement and you will see mistakes, rejections, and setbacks. They are not exceptions. They are examples of resilience. They failed, but they did not stop. They treated each failure as a lesson. They adjusted their strategy. They tried again. That persistence is what made them succeed. Success is not built on never falling. Success is built on getting back up every time you fall. When you fail, it also reveals your character. Do you quit when things get hard? Do you hide from the challenge? Do you blame others? Or do you take responsibility, learn, and move again? Failure is a test of your strength. It is a mirror that shows you who you are. If you face it with courage, you grow. If you run from it, you stay the same. That is why failure is valuable. It does not just teach you about the goal. It teaches you about yourself. Failure also forces you to see new paths. Sometimes you fail because the path you chose was not right. Failure closes one door so you can see another. At first it feels like loss, but later you realize it was guidance. Many people end up in better places because of a failure they once hated. That job you did not get may push you toward one that fits you better. That business that collapsed may teach you skills to build a stronger one. That relationship that ended may help you grow into someone ready for a better one. Failure redirects as much as it teaches. One of the worst mistakes is trying to hide failure. People pretend it did not happen. They cover it up. They act like everything is fine. But when you hide failure, you hide the lesson. If you deny it, you cannot learn from it. If you ignore it, you repeat it. The best way to handle failure is to face it honestly. Write down what went wrong. Study what you missed. Ask for feedback. Treat it as information. The more honest you are, the more value you gain. Failure is not shameful. Failure ignored is shameful. Failure can also humble you. It reminds you that you do not know everything. It reminds you that you must keep learning. That humility keeps you open. It makes you willing to ask for help. It makes you willing to grow. Many people let pride stop them from learning after failure. They are too embarrassed to admit they need advice. But those who succeed are not afraid to look foolish. They are willing to be beginners again. They see failure not as a verdict, but as a classroom. Moving forward after failure requires courage. It is easy to stop. It is easy to protect yourself from more pain. But comfort will never bring growth. Each time you move forward after failure, you build resilience. You show yourself that you can survive disappointment. You prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. That confidence builds with each step. Soon, failure no longer scares you. You see it as part of the game. You know you can handle it. That fearlessness makes you unstoppable. It is important to separate failing from being a failure. Failing is an event. Being a failure is an identity. They are not the same. You may fail at something, but that does not make you a failure. It only makes you human. The only way you become a failure is if you quit and never try again. As long as you keep moving, you are not a failure. You are a learner. You are a fighter. You are someone on the way to success. That distinction matters. It changes how you see yourself. To turn failures into lessons, build the habit of reflection. After every setback, ask yourself 3 things. What happened? What can I learn? What will I do next? These 3 questions turn pain into progress. They give you clarity. They help you avoid the same mistake twice. They keep you moving forward. Reflection is how you turn experience into wisdom. Without reflection, failure is wasted. With reflection, failure becomes your greatest teacher. Do not fear the opinions of others when you fail. People may laugh. They may criticize. They may point fingers. But remember, most of those people are not even trying. It is easy to mock from the sidelines. It is harder to step into the arena. Respect does not come from never failing. Respect comes from daring to try, failing, and trying again. People may laugh in the moment, but they will admire you in the long run. Do not let fear of judgment stop you from moving forward. Keep in mind that failure is temporary. No matter how big it feels right now, it will pass. What seems like the end today will look smaller tomorrow. Time shrinks the pain but expands the lesson. What feels heavy now will later feel like a step you needed. The key is not to let the temporary pain cause permanent quitting. Hold on long enough to see the value. Keep moving until you find the next chance. Every new attempt brings you closer to success. If you study the lives of great achievers, you will see the same pattern. They failed more than most. They were rejected more than most. They were doubted more than most. The difference was not talent or luck. The difference was response. They turned failures into lessons. They kept moving forward. They refused to let failure define their story. That is why they reached heights others never did. The same choice is open to you. So when failure comes, as it always does, remember it is not the end. It is a signal. It is information. It is a lesson. Take it. Learn from it. Then take the next step. Keep moving. Keep growing. Keep fighting. Because failure is only wasted if you stop. If you keep moving forward, it becomes the very thing that leads you to success. Chapter 10. Practice gratitude daily to unlock real happiness. Most people chase happiness in the wrong places. They think they will be happy when they make more money. They think they will be happy when they buy a bigger house. They think they will be happy when everything is perfect. But life never stays perfect. There will always be another problem, another need, another desire. That is why so many people feel restless. They are always chasing but never arriving. The truth is that real happiness does not come from more. Real happiness comes from gratitude. Gratitude is the ability to notice and appreciate what you already have. Gratitude turns ordinary days into rich ones. Think about how often you overlook the small things. You wake up in a warm bed, but you rush past it. You have food on your table, but you forget to notice. You have people who care about you, but you take them for granted. These things may seem simple, but they are treasures. Gratitude opens your eyes to them. Gratitude slows you down long enough to feel the joy that is already present. Without it, life feels empty no matter how much you achieve. With it, life feels full even when challenges remain. Gratitude is powerful because it changes your focus. When you practice gratitude, you shift from what is missing to what is present. You stop dwelling on what you lack and start noticing what you already have. This shift creates peace. You realize that even with struggles, there is much to be thankful for. You realize that happiness is not postponed until later. It is possible right now. Gratitude unlocks that door. You cannot always control what happens in life, but you can always control where you place your focus. Gratitude is the choice to focus on abundance instead of scarcity. Daily gratitude also changes your emotions. When you feel grateful, stress softens, worry lightens, anger loses strength. Gratitude calms the mind and warms the heart. Think about the last time you paused to feel truly thankful. Maybe it was for a meal. Maybe it was for a friend. Maybe it was for a moment of laughter. In that instant you felt lighter. That feeling was not an accident. It was gratitude at work. Practicing gratitude daily means creating that feeling again and again. Over time it becomes a natural part of who you are. Gratitude is not about ignoring problems. It is about balancing them with perspective. You may face struggles, but you can still be thankful. You may not have everything you want, but you have something worth appreciating. Gratitude does not deny pain. It simply refuses to let pain blind you to blessings. When you practice gratitude daily, you train your mind to see both sides. You see the challenge, but you also see the gift. That balance gives you strength to keep going without losing joy. One of the best ways to practice gratitude is to write it down. At the start or end of each day, list 3 things you are thankful for. They do not need to be big. It can be a smile from a stranger, a good meal, or a moment of peace. Writing them down makes you notice them more. It turns gratitude into a habit instead of a random feeling. Over time, your list grows. You begin to realize how much good surrounds you every day. That simple act can transform your perspective. Another way to build gratitude is to express it. Do not just feel thankful in silence. Tell people when you appreciate them. Thank your partner for their support. Thank your coworker for their help. Thank a friend for their kindness. Gratitude grows when it is shared. It not only lifts you but also lifts the other person. When gratitude becomes part of your relationships, they grow stronger. People feel valued. People feel seen. Gratitude connects hearts. That connection creates happiness on both sides. Gratitude also helps you handle success with humility. When you achieve something, gratitude reminds you that you did not do it alone. You had support, opportunities, and guidance along the way. Gratitude keeps pride in check. It makes you appreciate the journey instead of just the result. Without gratitude, success can feel empty. With gratitude, success feels rich because you see the web of help and blessings that made it possible. Gratitude keeps you grounded even as you rise higher. Daily gratitude has a direct effect on health as well. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude sleep better, feel less stress, and enjoy stronger immunity. But you do not need a study to feel it. When you are thankful, your body relaxes, your breathing slows, your muscles release tension. Gratitude is not just a mindset. It is medicine. It heals the body as much as it heals the mind. That is why gratitude is not optional. It is vital for a life of well-being. It is easy to think you will practice gratitude when life gets better, but the truth is that life gets better when you practice gratitude. Waiting for the perfect moment to be thankful means you may wait forever. Gratitude is not about having everything. It is about seeing something good in every season. Even in hard times, there is always a reason to be thankful. Maybe it is the lesson you are learning. Maybe it is the strength you are building. Maybe it is the people who stand by you. Gratitude finds light even in darkness. Gratitude also breaks the cycle of comparison. One of the biggest thieves of happiness is comparing your life to others. You see someone with more money, more beauty, or more success, and you feel less. Gratitude shifts your focus back to your own blessings. It reminds you that your life has gifts that no one else has. It reminds you that happiness is not about being better than others, but about valuing what you have. When you practice gratitude, comparison loses its power. You stop competing and start living. Another way to practice gratitude daily is through mindfulness. Take a moment each day to pause and notice. Feel the warmth of sunlight. Hear the sound of laughter. Taste the flavor of your food. These small details often pass by unnoticed, but they are sources of joy. Gratitude grows when you slow down enough to see them. Life is not only about big achievements. It is about small joys repeated every day. Gratitude teaches you to see them clearly. Gratitude also gives you resilience. When you face setbacks, gratitude helps you bounce back. Instead of drowning in what went wrong, you hold on to what is still right. You remember your strengths. You remember your support. You remember past victories. Gratitude gives you perspective that failure cannot take everything from you. You still have reasons to fight. You still have reasons to try again. Gratitude turns loss into motivation instead of despair. That resilience is a form of happiness that cannot be broken by challenges. Children can teach us about gratitude. Watch a child who receives a simple gift. Their eyes light up. They laugh. They feel joy in something small. That joy comes from gratitude. As adults, we often lose that. We get used to things and stop noticing them. Practicing gratitude daily is a way of returning to that childlike wonder. It is remembering that even the simple things are worth celebrating. That mindset brings more joy than any possession ever could. You can also build gratitude by looking back. Think about where you were years ago. Think about the struggles you once faced. Think about the progress you have made. Gratitude grows when you realize how far you have come. What you once prayed for may be what you now have. What you once dreamed of may now be your reality. Gratitude is about recognizing that growth. It is about pausing long enough to appreciate your journey instead of always rushing toward the next goal. Gratitude is a daily choice. It is not always automatic. Some days you will feel tired, frustrated, or stressed. But even on those days, you can choose gratitude. You can say, I may be tired, but I am thankful for the chance to rest. You can say, I may be stressed, but I am thankful for the strength to handle challenges. Gratitude does not deny reality. It adds balance to it. Practicing gratitude daily means making that choice again and again until it becomes natural. Real happiness is not found in possessions or achievements. It is found in a grateful heart. Gratitude gives you peace in the middle of chaos. Gratitude gives you joy in the middle of struggle. Gratitude gives you fulfillment in the middle of an imperfect life. Practice it daily. Write it. Speak it. Notice it. Live it. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the happiness you have been searching for. It is already within your reach. You only need to choose it every single day.